What up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, everyone? Today, probably one of the most popular zones in terms of people's speculation on the Riot MMO and what's to come, because I really feel like this one's an obvious no-brainer for everyone that Icathia is probably going to be an expansion. It just seems like a perfect piece of the map that you can easily cut off, right? People aren't going there anyways. The Psych Leak, you ain't getting through it. And it's covered in void, so ain't nobody there. It has ties to great characters like Kassadin, Kaisa, Belvith. Some of the biggest characters in Runeterra are on this little piece of the map. Some of the biggest history on Runeterra is from this little piece of the map. When we're talking about characters like Zillion and the whole Chrono Keepers, all ties back to here. And I think that this is going to be a big expansion, and it's going to lead into another expansion. I think you're going to get 2 expansions out of this, minimum. You're going to have Icathia, you're going to have the Void, you're going to have Belvith, all that stuff, and I think the Chrono Keeper expansion would come after that when we meet Zillion. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the raid bosses, top 10 Icathia threats we'll face in the Riot MMO, what kind of a raids might look like for Icathia, and just overall what Icathia is going to look like. And I'm pretty excited about Icathia. I think it's one of my favorite pieces of lore in Runeterra. Whenever we touch on the Void, if you haven't noticed that, my favorite zone is the Freljord. My favorite place is, one of my favorite places is Icathia. They did a good job with the Void in Runeterra. But before that, because that doesn't start till 8 o'clock, we're going to play some League of Legends. Have you guys noticed, by the way, my literal wallpaper is Chip? I've got 3 monitors. My wallpaper is Chip on all of them. He's just moving through the world. He's, like the one on my left is Chip climbing, like looking at like this big turtle guy, right? One in the middle is Chip climbing the stairs. I like Chip. So I'm going to keep playing Doombots because I feel like it's the best way for me to learn the game. There's not much pressure. No one's getting mad at me. It feels right. I don't got to stress. Yo, I'm watching you for the first time. Yo, thanks for the follow. When's the first time, and I would love to come watch you again. Can you add me? I'll add you on Discord. You can add me here. Links below for the Discord, though. Doombot, I think I came in at the perfect time. Doombots are like the best thing that could have happened to me because I can just keep playing without having to stress about like anyone getting pissed at me playing like crap. But because it's Icathia day, we can only play Icathia champions. Luckily, Malzahar's unlocked. There's one. He's gonna be big. Rek'Sai's one. I think those are the only two. Vel'Koz, I don't count Vel'Koz as Icathia. Vel'Koz is definitely more like Freljord, the Watchers kind of void. Same with like Kha'Zix and stuff. Rek'Sai though is definitely Icathia. I only see Malzahar and Rek'Sai, so it looks like those are the champions. Kha'Zix? I mean, Kha'Zix is close. He's more in like Ishtal, but I don't know if I would. Malzahar and Rek'Sai definitely. Never played Malzahar, so we'll try him. That's an awesome skin. Dang, Malzahar has some cool skins. Jeez, where's the login screen for this guy? I don't even think he has a theme. And yet he's got all these skins. Malzahar doesn't even have his own like theme music. He's got like a ton of skins. Morning Malzahar is a pretty intuitive champion. Okay, good. Good, because I'm not great. Turi, thank you so much for yesterday. I appreciate that tip like crazy, seriously. And you know, it means a lot. And I'm hoping I can give you a sneak peek of it too. The models page. Oh, I replaced it. I went back to the template. I was working on it yesterday. Then I went back to the template to make sure that it doesn't appear the wrong way. But I was working on the models page yesterday, and I'm hoping that I can get that done this week. But Turi, use the real one, seriously. You're welcome, mate. Excited to see. Yo, thanks, Turi. These people aren't that bad. Mastery locked. Why is my mastery locked? Maybe because I don't have many mastery. I don't think level 6 or 4 are that high, so. It does feel pretty good to be playing the game that all the lore comes from. Durin's Ring. We'll go with this. Damage champion with the ultimate burns the ground beneath them for 3 seconds. I need to really look at this. I might have been buying freaking items and not using them. That one looks like it has an on use, and I'm pretty sure I bought that in another game. What's this little squirrel following me? Alright, let me read these. Malzahar opens 2 portals to the void that fire projectiles. Inward, dealing 150 damage. Silencing for 1 second. Well, that's big. Let me head over there. Malzahar's other abilities give him a stack. Active Malzahar summons voidlings. Ooh. Less than just a voidling per stack. Malzahar inflicts terrible vision, dealing 145 over 4 seconds, applying Call of the Void or Nether Grasp to the victim. During this time, refreshes the visions. If the victim dies, Malzahar gains 8 mana. Ooh. Oh wait, I'm like a caster, so I should be casting. I should be casting from a distance. Am I supposed to be laning? I've never seen anyone actually lane before. I feel like Doombots has always been a mess, but I feel like I'm supposed to be in mid right now. Oh, jeez. What's this? I need to be getting these last hits. I need that. Oh, shoot. Summon a creep wave. Oh, did you see that tornado just coming for me? Oh wait, I should buy something. Wow, I think I just realized that this is freaking quirky. The skins are messing me up. These guys are wrecking me though. Okay, jeez. Oh, I don't know if that was me or if that was him. That was the guy that came, but no. Nice. Wow, you know what? My team is so good. I might actually win this game. But I might want to get out of here. Yeah, Corky's back. I'm getting no last hits. It's such a hard thing to time. That's not easy. I see people do it, and I always thought it'd be like not a difficult thing, but no. Doom, join counting down your doom. See, I also don't know what those. Protect the shield of the tower on your middle lane from doom bots. Oh, that's why everyone came to help me. It's literally part of the mechanic of doom bots. I was like, what a nice team I have. You've earned this. Your efforts have paid off. Oh yeah, gold. Okay, these people over here. Pushing a bit too far. Man, I hate Kate. Oh, okay. Your E ability is very good for farming because it bounces to a new minion when the minion dies. Oh. I was like, I think I have to level this thing up because it's not doing anything. But that makes more sense. Then I probably farm the last hits too. Oh, and now it's like kind of doing a little shock thing, which is pretty good. My ultimate is really strong. If someone comes into the tower and I just ult, because it kind of locks them in place too. I feel like the game is so quiet. I need to raise it up a bit. Come on. Nice. Alright, let me raise this up a bit for you guys. I can't reach it without going to the right. There we go. I think that's better.
Without question.
No! Nice. I'm pretty sure these are bots, but sometimes it just feels good when things line up. Alright, I need to... There we go. If I kill this guy... Yeah, it is jumping. Okay, I need to get back, yeah. Oh shoot, no! Freaking Corky, man. Okay, so how do I use this hate fog? Damaging a champion with your... Oh, it's a passive thing. I thought I had to use it. I'll purchase this too. And this, I guess. Damaging ability to slow enemies. That's really good.
Monsters come in all
Why not?
sizes, but true evil comes in one. Vega-sized.
They keep pushing this left lane like crazy. No, no. Come on. Kill Mega Ziggs. Kill Mega Ziggs before he destroys all of the buildings in one of your lanes. Oh, Mega Ziggs is in the middle. These freaking people. Oh shoot, that's not a tower, is it? Well, that wasn't good. I thought this was a tower. That was stupid. It doesn't do any damage. No, you're not getting away. No. No. Okay, now you. Oh shoot. Get me out of here. Oh. Oh. I really thought that was just one guy. For each second in combat with enemy champions, deal 2% bonus damage. Enter a stasis. This one seems like I have to use it. Yeah, time stop. Wow, that's fitting for Icathia. This has to do with Zillion. Zoyana's Hourglass. I think Zoyana is a character in Legends of Runeterra too. Isn't she one of those like assistants to Zillion? Actually, I think in my Darken video, I used Zoana's Hourglass in the video as like as part of the skit. I feel like my team is really good this game, and we're still somehow like really struggling against these normal bots. Oh. Send out these guys, I guess, before I go back. I need to remember to use this. I think I just pressed 6.
Without question.
Oh, no. 6. Okay. Oh, I didn't even see this guy. Malzahar is a pretty fun champion. I like him. Oh, good thing I didn't waste my ult on that guy. He freaking got melted. Does it automatically go to the lowest health person too? Oh, maybe it's just a time thing. I'm saying my team is so good. There's no way we don't. If there's a way to win this, this is the way. This team should win. But I think it's time. So 27 seconds. I think it's over. We're supposed to hold on. Oh shoot.
Icathia beckons.
Their inhibitors still stand. Do your job, minions. Take them out or face my monsters evil. My most evil. You know who did Halloween the best? And it's probably maybe it's a hot take, but I thought Junkenstein's Revenge in Overwatch was a great Halloween event. Like one of the best that anyone could. I don't know. I always thought it was really fun. Oh my gosh, man. Nice. Defeat Doom boss Vigar. Okay. Can I heal before?
That's the spirit.
Oh, I can't anymore. Oh shoot. Oh, this feels like. Oh, this feels like a raid. Well, a dungeon. Oh, how do I get through that? My team is melting him. I don't think I'm melting him. Maybe I can get a second heal in here if I use it now. Oh. Oh. Yo, this is awesome. What is this? Oh. What? What? I'm gonna die. Man, this is awesome. Jeez. This is one of the coolest things I've ever done. This freaking mechanics, I'm getting pulled into alternate freaking zones and stuff. I have to solo that person. This feels like a dungeon. And for Vigar's next trick, he'll make you disappear into a terrifying abyssal space. I need to get out of there. Oh. You know, the readability on this is really good. I can see my abilities going off. I can see all of Vigar's abilities clear. What? Oh, he's got freaking 2 health bars, the guy? This is actually really cool. I'm not even being dramatic, but this is actually one of the coolest things I've ever done, and especially in League of Legends. I haven't played that long, but like the way that this is being read, the mechanics and everything, the way I'm having to fight this guy, the way I got pulled into an alternate dimension type thing. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to be destroying these? Am I supposed to be destroying these? Here. I help. I help. I'm useful. Back on the boss. The mechanics in this, yeah, it's giving me confidence for the Riot MMO, that's for sure. Which one is me? You'll never guess. I suppose you'll have to duel the rest. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I should have used my shield there. Oh, oh. Back in? Okay, I can res. Well, that doesn't happen in a dungeon or raid. But wow, this is an awesome fight. This is actually an awesome fight. They did a great job with this. Okay, I take it back. I said Junkenstein's Revenge is probably the best Halloween event. I don't know. This fight's changing my mind. Okay, but I need to do better. I'm dead. I want to ult, but I kind of want to save it just in case I get pulled into one of those rooms again by myself. Oh, maybe I should have used it. I could have used it. I could have had it on cooldown by now. Spend your gold. Oh, yeah. You're right. I don't know how... Maybe I sell this ring? Sell this ring? And I'll get, I don't know, anti-healing magic amp? Sure. Purchase. Okay. Oh, I can't help. Oh, so they were all watching me fight? That's awesome. Oh, well. This guy freaking wrecked us. Ooh, that's not good. Are we about to lose? No. Carry us. No. Oh, I'm back. Jeez. That was a lot of damage. Is Nasus stronger than Vigar? Ooh, I don't think so. I don't think so. Vigar is really powerful. If Vigar was actually evil, he could do a lot of damage. We're lucky there's not an evil Yordle. Nasus is strong. Don't get me wrong. But Yordles are kind of just on another level. I should be ulting here. Vigar was literally tortured by Mordekaiser, and he's still a good guy. I know he plays it off. Vigar's always talking about pure evil, but all of his plans fall apart. And Vigar's idea of evil in the lore is like a group of bandits were attacking a village, and so he wanted to be the only evil in town, and so he destroyed the bandits or whatever. Basically, made them leave. And then he said, "Muha, now I'm the only evil person here." And the people didn't know whether to thank him or not. That's Vigar. But Vigar is, like, in terms of magical ability, Vigar is really strong. If he ever actually was evil, he'd be a big problem. Come on. And so Vagar faded into dust, but about to return, he knew he must. Yo, that was so much fun. Jeez. Well then. Okay. That was an awesome freaking fight. Wow. This is the first time I'm going to actually upvote the people. Brownie, you were great. How do I give these people the... Oh, we can only heart the other side, I guess. I leveled up. I got a basic champion capsule. That's nice. Oh, does that unlock a champion? Tiny Titan of Doom icon. I kind of want to set that. Although I really like my Poro Orin icon. That was crazy. That was awesome. Yeah. Now we got to set it for Halloween. Jeez, well then, okay, League of Legends. Okay, all right, I see you. I don't know if I could do it hard. I mean, I think I need to just keep getting better. And we still have to play one more character that I have, at least, that's Icathia related. What character would you be if you were part of Runeterra? Ooh. Ooh. What character would I be if I was part of Runeterra? I would say, like, I would say Ezreal because he goes everywhere, but Ezreal doesn't live like he almost does too much. There's no downtime for this guy. From Void to dead to Undead, doesn't get a break. I definitely don't want to be like a Vladimir. Who has like at least some downtime, you know? Oh, everyone's got a hard life. I'm looking at Jax, like his whole city was destroyed, you know, nothing left. He's running around with a lamppost. Cassidy and his whole family, he thinks they're dead. See, Heimerdinger's a good one. You know, a Yordle might be best. Honestly, a Yordle might be the best thing that you could be in Runeterra, if you could be anyone. But you don't want to be Teemo, because no one likes Teemo. Corki, at least you fly. Rumble, I always liked Rumble, but he's got a thing for Tristana, and things never work out for some reason for him on that front. Fizz was a part of a whole village underwater, and they all died, and he went into like a coma because it was so depressing for him. Like he literally lived in a whole town underwater, but then they got wiped out by a group of sharks, and yeah, he's literally slipped into a coma because it was so devastating for him. I really think Yordles feed on... Kled is insane. I don't want to be a cat. Vex is, no. I'd be a Yordle. I just don't know which Yordle. Kassadin is Kai'Sa's dad? Yeah. Yeah, Kassadin is Kai'Sa's dad. Yeah, he doesn't know that she's alive, though. And even when Kai'Sa meets Bel'Veth, Bel'Veth tells Kai'Sa, you know, of the people that are willing to try to stop me, only 2 remain. All the rest are dead. And of the 2, only 1 retains her full mind. Kassadin's kind of he's been fighting the Void in Icathia for so long that it's like, it's kind of screwed up with his mind. Like, Cassidy is literally running around in Icathia, just freaking annihilating any void spawn that he finds. He's lost his mind. I think it was Zarima, actually. It might have been Zarima. I don't know if it's on here. It might have been Zarima. They lived on the river Rennick. I know that. Near there. Cassidy, Kaisa, her whole family. But Malzahar came in. Literally, the character that we were just playing came in and wiped out his whole family. And Kaisa was underground. He didn't know that she was still alive. And went on with his life, thinking that she was dead. And so he did the only sane thing you could do, which is arm yourself with a bunch of weapons, including the Nether Blade of Harak, and then go straight into the void. Why can't I get this out of the way? Smolder's like stuck, and I need to grab Rek'Sai. Okay, we're gonna try Rek'Sai. We'll give Rek'Sai a try. This was way more fun than I was expecting. It's changing my mind on the best. Oh, he's got the skin too. Fright Night Vigar. The best Halloween event. This one's really fun. After this, we're going to talk about Icathia. Okay, so I have Unburrowed. Rek'Sai's next 3 attacks within 3 seconds gain 35% attack speed and deal an additional damage to nearby enemies. Attack refresh the duration of the ability. Rek'Sai burrows into the ground, gaining new abilities but cannot attack. She gains 5 movement speed, 65 reduced vision, and nearby enemies that move and are otherwise unseen will have their position revealed to Rek'Sai and her allies. She can go underground. Unburrowed. Rek'Sai bites a target, dealing and max fury. The bite deals damage by her in the last 5 seconds and then dives underground, becoming untargetable. Moments later, she leaps unstoppably at her target. Okay. Physical offense. Okay. Let's do it. Oh, camera. She's got a cool model. Should I go up top? I don't even know if we're supposed to be laning. Rek'Sai basically has sonar. You'll see when you go underground. Can you? I'm excited. Rek'Sai's abilities seem really cool. That I can just dig, and that's really fitting for her character. That's literally how she hunts in Shurima. I can curse thee. Can you explain more about Katarina, Talon, and General Tugutu? Your name is Katarina Tugutu, so I assume there's no. I was like, oh, for sure this person's like knows everything about Katarina and the Tugutu family. The Tugutu family is a powerful family in Noxus, and Katarina and Talon are actually, I think they're actually brothers, aren't? Or like siblings. Wow, what the heck? Okay, this person's just. Oh, okay. Wow, this person is just. How do I? Oh, it's like a stun. I'm gonna die, aren't I? Yeah, they're siblings. Katarina has a ton of lore around her and Demacia, and apparently now she was hired by what's his name? Wow, why am I blanking on his name? Blood guy. You know, Blood guy from Noxus. I'm super bad. You know what's surprising? I know all the lore, but I'm super bad with names. Like, I've always been bad with names my whole life. Vladimir. She was hired by Vladimir to kill LeBlanc's host. The host that she had for the Darkin. Okay, so I kind of go like this. Oh. Okay, I thought they couldn't see me. And Katarina, we're pretty sure. At this point, I think it's confirmed, is that she killed King Jarvan III's dad. King Jarvan IV's dad. So King Jarvan III. Yeah, and Talon is her brother, although I don't think they're like, I think he might be adopted. I have to look. I don't know too much about Talon's lore because he doesn't really tie into like too many of the other characters. So I have to read up on him. But yeah, they're a powerful family. They're siblings, but not by blood. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're siblings, but not by blood. It's like adopted. But Katarina is definitely the more like lore intensive of the two. Although I kind of wish that I don't really like that Vladimir hired Katarina to kill the host. Ooh. Cuz I feel like Katarina, at least, you know, she was a hired gun and she wasn't, you know, like she was still a little bit loyal to the Grand General Swain. Am I going to die here? Oh, that was awesome. Come on. Nice. Okay, she's pretty fun. Rek'Sai's pretty fun. Yeah, I didn't really like that Katarina was hired by Vladimir and she just kind of did whatever she could for money, because I understand she's an assassin. She works for the highest bidder, but I felt like she had at least some loyalty to Swain and some loyalty to Noxus. I mean, I kind of like that about her. But I feel like if she's just willing to work for Vladimir and the Black Rose, then that kind of goes away, because Swain is definitely not aligned with the Black Rose at all. But I have a whole theory around Swain being kind of more controlled by the demon Raum than he believes. Because he's got a line with Neela where Neela says, Swain, you, I know the deal I made. She's basically implying that Swain doesn't really know the deal that he made with Raum. And so I think Raum has more control over Swain than he realizes, and I think Raum really has a lot more control over Mordekaiser than we're led to believe, and the Noxus in general. Yeah, I can go down that rabbit hole with you guys, but I'll need like tinfoil hats on for everyone. Come on. Go, go. Oh, I can do this. I can do this, can I? Nice. Yeah, adopted. Spend your gold next time. Oh my god, I got 4,000 gold. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I should probably do that. Let me push this lane, and then I'm literally gonna have to hurry back. Oh shoot. I've got nothing. I should have bought items. This guy's gonna kill me. Go faster. Oh, I do see the sonar. That person's still chasing me, right? Isn't that dumb? Yeah. Wow. That's really cool. It is like sonar. Little help, though. It's still there. Ow. I think I just killed that person. That was not nice of me. Time, yeah, I freaking had 4K gold just chilling there. Yeah, I'd say I really like that. That's one of my favorite. I have two theories. Out of all the theories that I have, I think two are my favorite, which is that Raum really has way more control over Noxus than we're led to believe, that the Immortal Bastion is a conduit to his realm, and that that he's siphoning souls away from Kindred and to himself, to his realm, and he's using Mordekaiser to do it. And the Immortal Bastion is just a... Whoa. It's just a conduit that pulls souls to that realm. Mordekaiser doesn't even know what's happening. And Raum controls Noxus. The Black Rose is actually against Raum. And that's why... LeBlanc is always preparing, and it always seems like she's preparing for Mordekaiser. Like she sees Mordekaiser as the biggest threat, but I think she knows that Raum is actually the biggest threat. Who's a demon, by the way, if you didn't know that. Oh my gosh, this guy. Jeff. Jeff. Freaking Jeff, bro. Okay, so that's I come up and I stun. I need to remember that. I need to remember that when I come up, it's a stun. So do you like the Megan Fox? I mean, Sivir? Sivir is the... Look, in terms of the characters, I think Sivir is absolutely the hottest character in the game. This guy, oh. Ziggs. Oh my gosh, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I think I'm tanking this game for my team. Yeah. The other team that I had was amazing. The last team that I had, I think, carried me hard. So the Black Rose is the lesser of two evils between Realm and them. Definitely Black Rose is lesser of two evils. The Black Rose, the problem with the Black Rose is that they don't care like who gets in their way or anything like that. They're willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish their goal. But a lot of people don't even know what their goal is. Like, what is the goal of the Black Rose? What's the purpose of them? At the end of the day, do they really do bad things? Like, what'd the Black Rose do? What's the biggest events? They stopped... Oh, I can't see anything. They stopped Mordekaiser. That was them. You know? Would she be okay with the Rune Wars? No. She doesn't want to see Runeterra end. You know? She just doesn't care about other people. That's her biggest problem. That's why we don't like her. Is because, like, let's say Xin Zhao is in her way. She will kill Xin Zhao and you, the player character, to get what she believes is right. She'll do whatever she wants to do it. That's her problem. Vladimir could tell her, hey, you know, you shouldn't be messing with Darkin, who's literally a guy who was enslaved to a Darkin master before, and that's where he learned his blood magic from. So I think he's a little bit more knowledgeable on Darkin than LeBlanc. And yet she doesn't care. She just does whatever she wants, and you're either with her or against her. But I don't think she wants bad for the world of Runeterra, you know? She just has her own vision of what good is. Oh my gosh, man. What is this guy? It looks like Kha'Zix, but like just a monstrous form of him. Yeah, he's just wrecking everyone. I don't even know. I don't know what to do about him. I think we're about to lose here. It's alright. We'll go into the article. We'll start the Icathia raid bosses. I came in at the perfect time. Doombots is the perfect thing that could have happened to me to learn the game. No one cares. Everyone's chill. Like, I'm pretty sure if I was doing what I'm doing right now in an actual game, people would be cussing me out. Wow, this guy's doing so much damage, man. Jeff. Let's kill Jeff. Jeff needs to die. The character I'm most excited to see in MMO is Sataka. Maybe we might see her in some cutscene in an Icathia campaign. What do you think about her? Let me pull her up here. I don't think she's in Wild Rift. Let me see. Oh. Man, it's not like windowed, so I can't alt-tab. I want to talk about Sataka, but I feel like I need to pull up like her page, her lore. I want to give a good answer to you. Ishtal definitely does have some ties to Icathia and Shurima. Especially in the past, they were literally allies. Wait, wasn't Sakataka in Legends of Runeterra? I'm thinking about a different champion. Sataka was the leader, lore exclusive. She was the original owner of the Chalakar. Yeah. I'm thinking about a different champion. Who am I? I'm thinking about freaking someone from Ishtal. Yeah, the Chalakar and all that and whatnot. But she's dead, right? She's not. She's gone. I don't think she's still alive. Is she? And I thought the main leader of the Ascended Host was Aatrox. I'm gonna pull it up. Let's pull it up. I want to talk about Sataka. Do you think Katarina has some sort of loyalty and standards left in her, even as an assassin or hired assassin? I always thought she did until, you know, they added in that piece about her just working for Vladimir now. Unless, you know, she was still loyal to Swain in that way, right? And it's still less like Swain knew about it, and Swain told her, yeah, go ahead and kill this Darken Host. We don't want her doing that stuff anyways, right? That would be good. I just hope that somehow they show that she has loyalty to Swain in some way. Sataka. General of the Dunes. Where is she? I think, is she in Sivir's lore? Sivir's lore? I know that well, this is the Chalakar. Sivir has the Chalakar now. She used it to open the Tomb of Azir. The Tomb of the Emperors. Yeah, I don't know where it's from. I know I read this. I read about Sataka and like the let me close this out. I don't know where it's from. She's lore exclusive. She has the original owner of the Chalakar. Yeah, leader of the Ascended Host. Sadly gone, or is she? That might be right. Hey, unless someone is confirmed dead, like unless I literally see someone just like Ambessa death. Oh, I don't want to spoil this, but look, guys, if you haven't watched Arcane by now, you know, you should be spoiled by everything already. Okay, so Vic, there comes a point where it's no longer spoilers. Like if we just came out with Arcane freaking 4 weeks ago, sure, fine. But spoiler alert, sorry, Ambessa does die at the end of Arcane. But I actually think Ambessa is dead. But until you actually see someone to this point, unless I see that for someone, they're not actually dead. I need to literally physically see them dying. Heimerdinger, I don't think is dead in Arcane. Jinx, I have a whole video on her. I think if you Google, like search Jinx is not dead, my video is probably going to come up. There's my video. Jinx is alive, but where is she going? So yeah, my first thought is always that someone's not dead unless you actually see them dead. That's how I feel about it. We might only see her in a historic cutscene. Yeah, maybe. It'd be cool if she comes up. The original owner of the Chalakar, maybe she'll give us some history to the Chalakar, what it is, what's actually involved with the Chalakar, like why was it chosen as this weapon that will seal the Tomb of the Emperors and stuff. Definitely. I think she was in Twilight of the Gods, maybe? Let me search. Let me see. Then we'll start the article of the raid bosses of Icathia. Twilight of the Gods short story. Maybe I'll do like a whole article on Sataka, like the hidden characters of Runeterra, the lesser known characters. Sataka being one. I don't see her in there. Sometimes the paid doesn't. Yeah, no. I don't know. Look for her, guys. Let me know. I know there was like an image. I remember an image of like a character, Chalakar. Hold on, wait. Chalakar, Legends of Runeterra. There's a character holding it, and I always thought maybe that is Sataka. What? Sivir's Chalakar is a darkened weapon? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Unless it's like a crazy darkened weapon that somehow actually contains the soul and doesn't allow the person to be possessed. But I don't think Sivir is possessed by a darken. Yeah, I know that there was another image. If I search Chalakar, of like a character on like a horseback. She's standing on a stand or something, and she has the Chalakar with her, but it might have been fan art. I've seen it before. To avenge her father's death. We might only see her in the historic cutscene. Yeah, maybe. That'd be cool if she comes up, though. Alright, guys. Let's get started with the top 10 threats Icathia that we'll face in Icathia for the Riot MMO. These are Riot MMO raid bosses out of Icathia. Icathia is down here. Again, it's one of my favorite zones in Runeterra. It's definitely going to be an expansion at some point. I think Shurima will come at launch, and Icathia, it's not even going to be on the maps. They actually removed it from the maps in Shurima because they don't want anyone to go there. You got the Psych Leak blocking it off. We're going to have to get through that to get to Icathia. It's covered in void, and it's going to be our first touch, like our first toe dip into the void in Runeterra. I think we'll probably end up down here. We'll explore Icathia and the void long before we go into the Freljord and meet the Watchers. And I also think there'll be 2 expansions out of Icathia. There'll be one which is like the void-themed expansion, and then eventually we'll get the Chrono Keeper expansion, which is going to involve Zillion. So there's a ton of story here, and a ton of big characters tie into Icathia. You got Rek'Sai, Belveth, Kassadin, Kaisa, tons of great story. And so it deserves a video all to itself, this little nugget right here on the corner, because there's a video all to itself. And so we're going to go through the top 10 Icathia threats we'll face in the Riot MMO. Wouldn't that be good? It'd be great. I love seeing, I always say, like, the history can't just stay the history. I don't mind messing with time a little bit. I think with a character like Zillion, for example, with Icathia, I'd like to go back and see the Void War of Icathia, or see, certain events that I'm going to talk about right now. I think just because the stuff's in the past doesn't mean we can't explore it. I think World of Warcraft did a great job with time walking kind of thing. And then now they've really made it canon where you can go back to old expansions, but I'd like to see that, a new expansion where you kind of go back to the past, and Zillion's the perfect character for that. He's in here. Where's Zillion? Zillion, the Chrono Keeper. Yeah. One of the best characters in Runeterra, and all he does is mess with time. So Riot's definitely not afraid to mess with time. That's for sure. And so hopefully they don't stop. So this is the top 10 potential Icathia Void raid bosses for the Riot MMO. We'll go through an introduction, a little history, then we'll go through the top 10 raid bosses, as well as allies and tests. So those that will be allied with us and not really a raid boss themselves. The unknowable threat. Screaming into existence with the birth of the universe, the void is a manifestation of the unknowable nothingness that lies beyond. It is a force of insatiable hunger waiting through the eons until its masters, the mysterious Watchers, mark the final time of undoing. To be a mortal touched by this power is to suffer an agonizing glimpse of eternal unreality, enough to shatter even the strongest mind. Denizens of the void realm itself are construct creatures, often of only limited sentience, but tasked with a singular purpose to usher in total oblivion across Runeterra. Keep this in mind, that most of the creatures, the construct creatures of the void, often have only limited sentience. That's really important when we're talking about Icathia. For players in the Riot MMO, the corrupted lands of Icathia are the encroaching Lavender Sea. For players in the Riot MMO, the corrupting lands of Icathia and the encroaching Lavender Sea of Belveth promise a raid zone unlike any other. Here we speculate on the horrors that await from mindless swarms to the Empress of the Void herself. The fall of Icathia. And again, Icathia is right down here on the map, this bottom right little nugget there. Of all the cataclysmic events that have ever scarred Runeterra, few are as tragic as the fall of Icathia. For nearly thousands of years, the proud nation lived under the heel of the mighty Shuriman Empire. Their culture suppressed and their greatest minds denied the honor of ascension. This simmering resentment finally boiled over into a rebellion fueled by desperation. And when I say like they were oppressed, I mean they were literally killed if they, exercised Icathian culture. Shurima wanted them to be a part of the Shuriman Empire. You are Shuriman now. You are no longer Icathian, and you will not do any Icathian things. So if all of Icathia got together and danced on the weekends, a special dance, that doesn't happen anymore. And if you caught doing it, you'll be killed. That's the kind of oppression Icathia faced under Shurima. It wasn't like kind or nice or just kind of like, hey, just join us, like just be nice and friendly and we'll be okay with you guys. No, it was oppressive, like you are lesser citizens unless you fully embrace the Shuriman way. Ignoring the warnings of a pragmatist like the warrior Sajax, the man who would become Jax, and the chronomage Zillion, Icathia's leaders chose to unleash a power they could not comprehend, the Void. They believed it would be a weapon that would grant them freedom, but they were wrong. This is what led to the Void War. Basically, Shurima freaking attacking well, not really attacking Icathia at all, but oppressing Icathia. And the Icathian leaders ended up discovering the Void in some crack within the earth. And they used that power to go against Shurima and to save themselves. And they thought that they could use the Void as like a weapon. But characters like Sajax, who would later become Jax, and Zillion were very against it, telling them that you shouldn't do it, this power shouldn't be released. Zillion was literally like, I'd rather see Icathia fall than this power unleashed in Runeterra. But they didn't listen, and they unleashed the Void. And you can see these characters over here on the back side of this image. If you look at the back, that's orange. Those are probably Icathians, and the yellow in the front, that's probably Shurima. And you can see the Void unleashed behind the Icathians. The thing is, the Void has no allies or allegiances, and they killed everyone. I pressed myself to the battle-churned earth as the wail burrowed deep into my skull, as though the world itself were shrieking in horror. The sky, once bright and blue, was now the color of a week-old bruise. I saw flickering after-images burn themselves onto the back of my mind, slashing claws, gaping maws, all-seeing eyes. And that's from Azamuk Varchoi Kohari Ikathor, from where Icathia once stood, and this guy is dead. The Void did its work, annihilating the Shuriman God Warriors, but it did not stop there. The weapon turned on its masters, swallowing Icathia whole and leaving a gap wound in reality. A permanent gateway for the horrors that now spill into the world. It is into this world and the new one tore open to Belveth that players will likely venture. And so the God Warriors really were a problem for Icathia. They remember that they couldn't make any ascended, and that probably had a lot to do with the fact that Shurima was worried about an Icathia uprising. So Icathians were not allowed to become ascended God Warriors. And remember, ascended God Warriors are like Azir, Renekton, Nasus, these kind of characters that they use the Sun Disc, which takes in the power of Aurelian Soul, to raise up immortal God Warriors. So I can pull up like Renekton here, or Nasus. These are God Warriors. Aatrox, example of an Adarkan that was a God Warrior that became corrupted after the Void War with Icathia. So the Void got infected. He became corrupted by the Void, ended up using blood magic to corrupt his form, and his whole vision of reality became corrupted, like what his goal was. Zolani was a healer, and you might not know her, but she was an Ascended God healer. And after she became a Darkin, her vision started to use blood magic to control all of Runeterra, saying no one could ever hurt themselves again. No one could ever hurt each other. If everyone's controlled, there'll never be a war. She would probably align really well with Victor from Arcane. She had the similar mindset, like we'll control everyone and everything will be good. But, the perfection is the end of pursuit. So that's an example of like a God Warrior. But Icathia was not allowed to make God Warriors probably because Shurima was worried about them having an uprising. And the God Warriors are really powerful in the war against Icathia, pretty much annihilating the Icathian army. But that resulted in them, unleashing the Void to counteract the God Warriors. So is a bit of a problem. So now, the top 10 raid bosses. So when we're down in Icathia over here, we finally make it through the Psycholic. What are we doing down here? Who are the raid bosses that we're going to face? I think the first one's going to be the Xerxai Swarm. That's going to happen in the Psycholic down here. Right over here. This is where you don't want to go. I mean, people are dying here all the time. There's literally a whole story on a village with Kaisa and Talia that they try to get them back to a village Psycholic, and it's wiped out. I mean, no one's left alive. So, and what are the minions of the Queen Xerxai? You have like a Xerxai Dunebreaker. While all Xerxai are able tunnelers, only their Dunebreakers have the mass and power needed to break through the veins of solid bedrock that snake through the Great Sai and open up the lands beyond for further hunting. So, that guy will be a problem. Then you have these, the Xerxai Callers. Not all Xerxai are born to butcher. Some can summon their kin with piercing shrieks that rattle the sands as well as the senses. You can see these two Xerxai Callers. They see these two guys over here and they're calling the other Xerxai to them. These ones look like raptors to me. I can imagine like a raptor call coming out of these things. And finally, this is one of the best images I've ever seen. It's like a Xerxai over here. Look at the claws scraping. These two people terrified out of their minds. These are just Xerxai hatchlings. Once a caravan has been disabled, the hunters will occasionally retreat and allow their hatchlings to forge forward. It is here that the young Xerxai refine their instincts, learning which sounds are of the desert and which signal their prey. The Xerxai are freaking terrifying, and I definitely think that a Xerxai raid is going to happen right here in the Psycholic before we even get into Icathia. So how would that look? The first encounter with the Void Raid would likely not be a single entity, but a relentless swarm. An encounter with the Xerxai would be a chaotic council-style fight, forcing the raid to manage multiple target types simultaneously. Players would have to prioritize the high-pitched Xerxai Callers, prevent them from summoning endless reinforcements, while tanks grapple with the heavily armored Dunebreakers. Can definitely see this being a problem. The DPS is trying to they're constantly trying to do damage to the Dunebreakers. Remember about DPS charts, but really they're supposed to be DPSing the Xerxai Callers to prevent them from summoning more. So someone's going to lose a little bit of DKP there. Meanwhile, swarms of hatchlings would assault healers and range DPS, making positioning and crowd control paramount to survival. So it's really the first raid over here, Psycholic, with the Xerxai Swarm is really a test of, are you guys actually a raid? Do you work together? Or are you kind of just individual people running around that are going to get yourselves killed by the time you get into Icathia? So, the Xerxai raid. The next one is the defenders of Belvith, Koyami, and Shalati. This is literally a city. The city of Belvith is a character. We know that. Belvith was also a city. Well before Belvith the character was established, Belvith was a city. And I think, if you look here, it's like random freaking V shape over here that just darts into the land. That doesn't really seem natural to me. I mean, you look over anywhere else, you never see a dart in like that. Maybe this, but this almost looks like a cut in like a river. Same with that. They're like gradual, This just seems way too sharp, almost like something's missing there. We know Belvith was a port city, and this may have been where Belvith was, is this little cut. And we actually have images of the city of Belvith. These are images of the city of Belvith being taken by the Void. And that's what happened to Belvith. It was consumed by the Void to summon a monstrous creature that we're going to get into pretty soon. So it wasn't summoned for nothing. One image we have is of the Void Blaster. The Void eruption in the city of Belvith was both sudden and terrifying. Most of the civilians were terrified by the chaos that quickly enveloped the city and fled for safety as fast as they were able. Most, but not Koimi. And you could see Koimi over here with a literal picked up, it looks like a void creature, and is using them to fight the void. And here's another character, it's called the Belvithi Elder, and this is Shalati. Shalati reeled at the horror before her. There lay Ferrari, the kind butcher's daughter, crushed to death. Beside her was Gorup, the fisherman's son, still reaching toward his love with lifeless hands. So many memories gone, so many lives lost. With a grimace, Shalati turned to the evil, ready to give her life to save the rest of her people. And you can see she's like a mage, kind of. She's also grabbed a void creature, some kind of void weapons, using that to fight off the void. And I think I would really like it if the Riot MMO starts without Belveth, the city, being consumed, and that we actually get to participate in trying to save, like a desperate salvation, trying to save the city of Belveth, and us knowing, you know, what's going to become of this city and what's coming out of it, even ahead of time, is okay. You know, we can start a little bit back in the Riot MMO. The raid encounter. The encounter would be a tragic narrative turning point. As players fight to defend the city of Belveth from the initial Void incursion, they are joined by two powerful locals, Koyami the Void Blaster and Shalati the Belveth Elder. This fight would be a desperate defense against waves of Voidlings. The objective wouldn't be to defeat the two defenders, but to survive alongside them. This encounter would climax with an overwhelming surge of void energy, forcing Shalati to make a heroic sacrifice, creating a barrier that allows players and the wounded Koyami to escape the city's final consumption. This sets a somber tone and establishes the stakes for the rest of the raid. So I feel like that would be an awesome raid fight, right? We go in and we see the city of Belveth being consumed by the void, and we see these characters, Koyami and Shalatai, kind of rallying for a final defense, trying to save the last of the people of Belveth. And we do know there are survivors of Belveth, so it'd be better if we were a part of that. Yo, what's up? Void theme today? Yeah, actually, so not 100% Void, but we're covering Icathia. All the Void bosses that we could see for Icathia, and we've only gone through 2 so far. So the first one was the Xerxai Swarm in the Psychotic. I think that'll be a raid, the first raid. And then the next one, I'd like the Riot MMO to start before the city of Belveth is consumed and have a raid around that with Koyimi and Shalatai, and us helping them to save as many people as we can out of the city of Belveth. And these are images, literally, you can see people running. This is the city of Belveth being consumed by the void. That's what these images are showing. And there's more. We're going to see more images of Belveth. So it's pretty fleshed out. Next up is Kog'Maw, the Mouth of the Abyss. This is a character that probably a lot of people know if you play League of Legends. Belched forth from a rotting void incursion deep in the wastelands of Icathia, Kog'Maw is an inquisitive yet putrid creature with a caustic, gaping mouth. This particular void spawn needs to gnaw and drool on anything within reach to truly understand it. This character literally needs to gnaw on you to understand you. That's terrifying. Do you think the MMO genre is dying because there are any new games that are successful and most of them are failures? I think the MMO genre is kind of took a downturn recently because it's like when there's no change, like World of Warcraft. I'm a big World of Warcraft fan, but World of Warcraft takes no risks. They've done a lot already to the game that kind of to the detriment of the player base. And once you do those things at MMO, you can't really go back. Like once you introduce the WoW token, you can't take it back. Once you introduce the store, it's there. There's certain things that happen. Like once you allow bots to run rampant, you lose player trust. And so World of Warcraft itself is not a game that I'm still interested in, but I'm still a big fan of Azeroth and the world, and I still like World of Warcraft. It's not like I hate the game. I think it's just the only game in town. They've really dominated the market, and I think it will take a game like Runeterra and the Riot MMO to finally create competition for World of Warcraft and make them have to take a risk to try to, maintain what they have. Right now, World of Warcraft doesn't have to do anything. And the problem with that is that they don't have to innovate. They don't have to try. Like every single expansion is the exact same. You know exactly what you're going to do. It's way too familiar. So I think the Riot MMO, regardless of whether it beats World of Warcraft or not, I think it'll be good for World of Warcraft. So I just feel like it got too stale. So you're saying there aren't any new games, successful ones, most of them are failures. Yeah, I agree with that. So it's because it's not even just there's no new games, but yeah, it's just because there's not any innovation anymore. That's why. I think there's no game out there better than an MMORPG when it's doing well. Like, why would you ever want to play anything else other than the game where you're actually in the world, you're interacting with players, you're grouping up for dungeons and raids or whatever, and you get to do PvP and I don't think there's a game out there that's better than it. Kog'Maw, the Mouth of the Abyss. Drawn by a baleful beacon that led him to Runeterra, Kog'Maw is a creature of unsettling curiosity. Driven to understand his new environment the only way he knows how, by devouring it. His journey is a swath of destruction, not born of malice, but of an insatiable, childlike hunger. The enchanting colors and aromas of Runeterra intoxicated Kog'Maw, and he explored the fruits of the strange world the only way he knew how, by devouring it. This creature is literally just curious, so he wants to know you, so he chews off your leg. And he's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Kog'Maw is interesting. The way that I think the raid encounter would work is that drawn by the immense void energy, Kog'Maw would serve as a grotesque and unpredictable mid-boss. The fight would take place in a corrupted landscape where Kog'Maw's caustic enzymes have turned the ground into a hazardous mess. The primary mechanic would revolve around his unending curiosity and hunger. He would periodically target and attempt to devour players who must be freed by their allies before being digested. The arena would be littered with consumable objects, and if Kog'Maw eats them, he gains new dangerous abilities, forcing the raid to control his diet while avoiding his artillery, like acid attacks. That I think makes sense to me. Kog'Maw, I think, would be an earlier raid boss just because of, he's void, but he's like not that big, kind of comes off as a baby. In my opinion, each MMO has its own merits, yeah. What matters in the end is if you're enjoying your time with said game. Yeah, 100%. Like my brother still plays World of Warcraft every single day. And he loves World of Warcraft. And, I don't think World of Warcraft is a bad game. I don't think Final Fantasy is a bad game. I think I care a lot about the lore, and Runeterra's lore will pull me in, so that's what I'm most excited for, right? Is the Runeterra and the Riot MMO, because I care so much about the lore. What up, Flappy? Hey. So that's how Kog'Maw would be. Then we have Kassadin, the Corrupted Walker. I do think Kassadin will be a great boss. So Kassadin's story is one of profound loss. Once a simple Shuriman guide, his life was shattered when the void guided by Malzahar's followers consumed his village, and with it his wife and daughter. Believing them dead, he swore vengeance, and his daughter is actually Kaisa, who's another character. So you can see Kassadin right here. This is Kassadin in in Wild Rift, and keep in mind that his blade is actually one of the nether blades of Harak, who's the Ascended who actually was able to stop the void in Icathia by destroying void hearts. And this is Kaisa, so that's actually his daughter, although he doesn't know that she's still alive. He clawed at the debris until his hands bled, screaming out his wife and daughter's names, though no answer came. Days later, Kassadin's companions caught up to him, now just a broken and empty man weeping beneath the scorched sun. To fight the Abyss, he armed himself with forbidden artifacts, including the legendary Nether Blade of Harak, a weapon that could harm the void itself. Now he walks the darkest paths, a man with nothing left to lose, singularly focused on destroying the prophet Malzahar. So he knows that Malzahar is the one that destroyed his home, and you could literally see that's actually Kassadin in that bottom left right there, jumping into a void rift. The guy's insane. He has lost his mind at this point. He is just out to destroy the void no matter what. Kassadin's a really cool character. Haven't played League of Legends in years, but Kog'Maw was my favorite. I've never played League of Legends before recently, so I got way invested in the lore long before I started playing League. I actually just started playing League recently, and on stream, but I suck right now. But Kog'Maw was my favorite. Kog'Maw, he's a cool character. I only have so many characters unlocked, but I would have played him this morning if he was available. Raid encounter analysis for Kassadin. This wouldn't be a fight to kill, but to save. Deep within the void, players guided by Kaisa would find her long-lost father, Kassadin, on the brink of being fully consumed by the very power he fights. The encounter would be a desperate race against the corruption meter. Players must fight off waves of void entities that are trying to overwhelm Kassadin. Periodically, Kassadin himself, lost in a void-induced nightmare, would lash out, forcing players to dodge his powerful nether blade attacks. The goal is to survive his phases and cleanse the corruption before it's too late, freeing him from the Void's grasp and gaining a powerful ally for the final confrontation. I think Kassadin will have a raid boss with him, trying to free him. Kaisa will be there. We'll have to help Kaisa free her father, and he'll eventually be an ally with us and carry forward with us in the Icathia expansion. Malzahar, the prophet of the void. A gifted seer, Malzahar grew disillusioned with the endless cycle of suffering in the mortal world. He sought answers in the ruins of Icathia, and gazing into the abyss, he found what he believed to be salvation, the promise of oblivion. Keep in mind, we're going from weakest champions, weakest raid bosses, to most powerful raid bosses. So I would put Malzahar above Kassadin. Malzahar had seen in the abyss an end to all the suffering he had witnessed in his mortal lifetime. He realized the future he had believed hidden from him all this time was in fact a vision of his true calling, to accelerate the world toward inevitable oblivion. As the herald for a new evolving void that craved a leader, Malzahar orchestrated a complete annihilation of the port city of Belveth, sacrificing its people and their memories to serve as the raw material for his empress's birth. So literally the void that was in Icathia, it just consumed, the way I think about it is Icathia during the Void War just consumed so many mortals, so many people all at once, that it almost became somewhat sentience, but it needed more. It hungered for more. And it found that in Malzahar. It found that person that could help it in Malzahar. And it told Malzahar, hey, go, bring us offerings, and, we can save the world by encompassing it all in the void, and there'll be no inequality anymore. Everyone is one within the void. And so Malzahar, being a good voidling guy, orchestrated the complete annihilation of the port city of Belveth. He also orchestrated the annihilation of Kassadin's home and Kaisa's home, and killing everyone there. And then you could see these were images of Belveth being consumed, and these people were trying to save as many people as they could within the port city. Belveth is consumed by Malzahar, and then we get this trailer. So let me pause this. Oh, hold on, you guys can't hear. Where is it? Chrome. There we go.
My prophet. My prophet. Your empress has arrived. Witness your reward. The end of everything.
So yeah, once the city of Belveth is consumed, Belveth, the character, awakens, and then she takes on the name Belveth of the port city. As the herald who orchestrated Belveth's birth, Malzahar would be a major encounter. The fight would be a battle of attrition against his endless swarm of voidlings and his mind-bending powers. Players would be afflicted with malefic vision, a debuff that damages them over time and can spread to nearby allies if not properly managed. Malzahar would frequently open Nethergrass portals, attempting to suppress and disable key players like tanks and healers, forcing DPS to switch targets and destroy the portals quickly. It's a fight demanding constant movement, spatial awareness, and ad control. And it'll be a hard fight. Obviously, DPS never do this. Like, you don't force a DPS to switch targets. They really struggle with something like that. So that should be interesting, having DPS do a mechanic other than freaking target one character and just nosedive into it the whole fight. If you guys haven't realized, I never play DPS. I always play healer or tank. Next up, the Void Abomination. This is one of the coolest arts in Legends of Runeterra. This is, again, Belveth being consumed. This is part of one of the creatures that came into Belveth to help consume the city. And this thing is insane. This thing is cool. And it's called the Void Abomination. We had heard tales of the Void breaches before and the devastation that came with them. But to see it myself, I don't know that I will ever rid my eyes of that sight, of my heart of that horror, or my heart of that horror. And that's from a Belveth survivor. So there were some survivors of Belveth, just not too many. Raid encounter, well, you know, the Belveth survivor, that was probably due to like Koemi and Shalati and a raid of players, a group of random players. So maybe. The raid encounter with this thing, the Void Abomination. This is a quintessential gear check boss, a hulking monstrosity of raw void matter. The Abomination would be a straightforward but punishing encounter. Its attacks would be slow but devastating, requiring precise tank positioning and timely cooldown usage. The raid would need to deal with a stacking debuff applied by its AoE stomps, forcing tank swaps. The main challenge would be a soft enrage mechanic. The longer the fight goes on, the more unstable the Abomination becomes, pulsing raid-wide damage with increasing frequency. It's a pure test of the raid's raw healing and damage output before the more complex fights ahead. So this is like, you know, mid-raid damage check. Do you even want to sit there and wipe all the time, or do you have enough DPS to actually move on to some of the harder bosses which are coming up now? Because now we're approaching the top 5. We just finished the Void Abomination. These are the bosses that we're getting up there. These are like end raid boss level people. Number 4, the Camouflaged Horror. This is a cool image. This looks like a void creature. It's half dragon. Look at its mouth, how it's opening. I don't even know what kind of sick madman at Riot Games would draw such a thing. I mean, did they just keep drawing like more mouths? It needs more mouths. You know what? It could use a mouth. And then look, it's got its mouth on its head, on its face. It's got eyes, mouth there. And then they added 2 mouths on the side. And they said, you know what? That's not enough. Add a bunch of little heads popping out of it and add mouths there too. This thing has got more teeth than anything. I mean, it's just teeth. It's just a bunch of different. Who else are going to chew on these mandibles here? I don't know what kind of person drew this. You did a great job. You really did. That thing's scary. As the assault continued, larger and even more ferocious creatures poured forth from the widening gate. The city of Belveth was lost, though, as the cruelty of fate would have it, its name would live on. And so this is, again, still, we're seeing images of Belveth being consumed by the void. This encounter is all about paranoia and perception. The Camouflaged Horror would be an ambush predator fought in a dark, cavernous area. For most of the fight, the boss would be invisible, its location only hinting at a subtle environmental cues like shifting dust or dripping ichor. It would periodically emerge to strike a random player, applying a deadly bleed before vanishing again. Players would need to use flares or magical light sources to reveal the horror, creating short windows to deal damage. Failing to reveal it in time would result in pouncing on a player from the shadows for a one-shot kill. So I can see this boss being a very mechanically intensive one. Finally, the Rek'Sai, the Queen of the Xerxai, Final Showdown. The reason I say Final Showdown is because I did put Rek'Sai as well in our Shurima raid bosses. She's up here. She's like, where is she? I know, yeah, I put her at number 2 for Shurima. And I included some Xerxai in her raid, which I think would come up. And the reason I'm putting her again is because I don't think we'll kill Rek'Sai in the Shurima raid, but she'll give you the feeling of the void presence, you know? That the void is there. And then we'll fight her again here in the Icathia raid. So fear not ambush from the hills, nor winged beasts from the skies. The true terror of Shurima comes from the sand, and gives no warning of her presence. That's Sivir talking about Rek'Sai. There's some images of Rek'Sai in Legends of Runeterra. Young Jahura was exploring, as is his way, and in a small hidden cave, discovering some ancient texts. He took them to the translator in He took them to the translator in Merylmark and the scrolls. They speak of an ancient terror who stalked our ancestors, a queen, a Xerxai queen. And here's another image of Rek'Sai hunting. That's after she evolves in Legends of Runeterra. We have known of her terror for generations, but for our ancestors to know her too, how old must she be? How many of our people has she butchered? And thought The thought unsettles me greatly. As you can see, because she has that ability in Legends of Terra. She has a call the pack card. So Rek'Sai, definite raid boss. That raid encounter, so having likely faced her once before in Shurima, this would be the final definitive battle against the Queen of the Xur'Sai. The encounter would be, because I really feel like we'll battle her once and she'll just kind of dig down and disappear, right? Like we'll fight her, but then we'll win and she'll just kind of dig down and go probably into Icathia. But this will be like the second time we face her. The encounter would be a high-stakes game of cat and mouse in her personal nesting ground. Rek'Sai would spend much of the fight burrowed, using tremor sense to hunt players. Raiders would need to use sonic emitters or cause localized cave-ins to force her to the surface. Once exposed, it's a frantic burn phase before she burrows again, leaving behind a network of tunnels she can use to ambush the raid from any direction. In the final encounter, she would periodically enrage, gaining immense speed and damage, forcing the raid to use all their defensive cooldowns to survive until she calms down. It's a fight that demands constant vigilance and control of the battlefield. Rek'Sai is going to be an awesome raid boss. I mean, every image of her, she just gives raid boss vibes. And I think she deserves to be a raid boss, not once, but twice. And I feel like the call gives the best to her scale. Like that really feels like the scale of Rek'Sai. Just massive, maybe about the same size as in Legends of Runeterra, but that really feels like the size of Rek'Sai. Man, what an awesome raid boss that's going to be. I think she shows up one more time, right? At the end here, you can see her like, yeah. You can see her behind her, just trying to get to her. The call is an awesome cinematic. Where am I going to I want to pause it like right there. Get a nice pause shot for this one. Yeah, that's the ultimate shot of Rek'Sai. The Hive Herald. A lot of people don't even know this character exists. It spoke to me as if it knew me. Like it wanted me to meet something. That's Kaisa talking about it. The Hive Herald actually has voice lines, and that's very unique for Voidborn. You gotta remember, Voidborn don't talk. You ever seen Kog'Maw talk? You ever seen Kha'Zix talk? They don't talk, ever. The Voidborn never communicate. Vel'Koz is probably the only one, and he doesn't even have... What is Vel'Koz's voice lines? Vel'Koz, voice lines, League of Legends. Like, he's probably the only one that's comparable to... Yeah, he is.
My presence causes them distress. My presence causes...
Yeah.
A land rich with information.
Yeah, I mean, well, Vel'Koz's whole purpose is he's trying to pull knowledge for the Watchers, right? But very few Void creatures can ever talk or communicate. Bel'Veth is also one that's able to talk, and it was like a shock to Kaisa. Like, how the heck are you communicating with me? Let alone you have a name, like you named yourself. That should not be the case. The Voidborn should only be named by the people that named them, right? Like we give them names. They don't name themselves because they're single-minded, mindless creatures that don't really think for themselves. They're just following, their instincts the whole time. But the Hive Herald is like Bel'Veth and able to communicate.
She beginning, she end. I am the path she walks.
I don't really like Kaisa's voice actor for Legends of Runeterra, but the voice lines are interesting.
Speak to me. Tell me what you're doing.
Words unneeded. Watch.
Enough! I'm taking you down.
I am not precious.
I can stop you. I must be able to.
Lies. Kaisa. Void.
Yeah, so like the Hive Herald literally being able to talk and communicate with people is terrifying. There's a Bel'Veth the Elder.
I was born in Bel'Veth. I cannot leave.
Bel'Veth. Good.
Yeah, and so keep in mind that the Hive Herald was even before Bel'Veth. It helped create Belveth, but the Hive Herald came first. Rek'Sai would be terrifying in an enclosed setting, underground caverns. Yeah, that's why I feel like the first fight in Trima would be above ground, but then our second fight with Rek'Sai would be kind of like deep below ground near her home, was my thought process. But the Hive Herald, the penultimate boss and Belveth's chief lieutenant, the Hive Herald is not a brute, but a conductor. The encounter would take place on a platform overlooking the Lavender Sea, with the Herald itself channeling power from a massive void gate. The Herald would be largely stationary and shielded, invulnerable to direct attack. Instead, it would summon waves of elite Voidborn. The raid must defeat these adds in specific locations to overload the conduits powering the Herald's shield. Once the shield drops, the raid has a brief window to damage the Herald before it restores its defenses and summons a new, more dangerous wave of minions. It's a tactical encounter focused on ad management and burst DPS windows, all while the voice of Belveth echoes promises of oblivion. And that really depends if we end up fighting the Hive Herald. I think the Hive Herald will come after. Like, we'll see them, but we won't fight them in the Belveth raid. So if they do what I was thinking, which is that the city of Belveth was not consumed at the launch of the Riot MMO, we get to experience that fight. I think that we'll maybe see the Hive Herald in the distance, but we won't fight them during that. We'll end up fighting them in Icathia in like a separate raid with the Hive Herald as the raid boss. I think the Hive Herald deserves its own raid. It's one of the more interesting Voidborn. Finally, Belveth, the Empress of the Void. Belveth is a horrifying evolution of the Void. Born from a collective consciousness of a devoured city, she is a sentient cancer whose goal is not just to erase Runeterra, but to consume and remake it in her own image. She represents a new kind of threat, a void with a mind, with wants, and with a terrifying, singular purpose. You have the Watchers in the Freljord. The Watchers, what they want to do is destroy Runeterra and return to their void slumber. That's not what Belveth wants. So these are the Watchers. This is, you can see one emerging over here. This is the Eye in the Abyss. That's very tiny. That's actually my video. Oh, that's my video too. Look at me. Look at me popping up on the searches. That's pretty cool. Probably my thumbnail's bigger, but you can see the eye there. There we go. That's not a Watcher. That's a frozen Watcher. Those are different. Regardless, the eye, you can see the eye here. And then this art is when the Watchers first emerged and coming into reality. But the Watchers want to destroy Runeterra and they return to their void slumber. Belveth wants to consume Runeterra and make it all into the Lavender Sea. We actually do have one image of the Lavender Sea. Yeah, this is like the only image we have of the Lavender Sea. You can see it's like almost a mock-up of the sun disk, but everything's inverted. We have one video of the Lavender Sea, but this is only a still image that we have. Then there's a video of the Lavender Sea. Oh my gosh, look at me. Wow, I'm really coming up on Google. We lost. That's also my video. Fascinated by the world of existence, eager to create one for herself, Belveth is like a dark cancer that has metastasized within the heart of the void, through which all of Runeterra will be consumed and rebuilt in her own twisted image. So Belveth is actually against the Watchers. The Watchers want to destroy Runeterra. Belveth doesn't want to destroy Runeterra. She wants to consume Runeterra and remake it in her own image. So all of Runeterra will be the Lavender Sea. The raw components of their lives serves as the genesis for my birth, memories, emotions, history. I am as much Belveth as they were, and I claim the title as my own. So that's why she calls herself Belveth, is because she is literally a congregation of like all the people of Belveth freaking consumed. And this is the all that will ever be cinematic. This is literally the way these tie together, guys, is if you look at this, Rek'Sai emerged. Remember how I was telling you? I can tell you guys this story. Remember how I was telling you Kaisa and Talia, they have this group of people that they want to help? Well, these group of people that they want to help are literally like they're somewhere over here, like maybe in Vakaru or whatever, and their home is in the Saikalik. And people are dying in the Psycholic all the time because those are Rek'Sai and Xer'Sai hunting grounds. And so Talia and Kaisa literally decide, okay, we need to create a place for these people in the Psycholic, and we need to find a home for them, a safe place for them. And so they go ahead of the tribe. They're like, well, you guys can't come with us. You'll die. So they go ahead and they try to establish a home for the people. And that's what you're seeing here, literally in this cinematic, the call. Right? This is Talia and Kaisa. They approach a village and they see that everyone's already dead here. This place is wiped out. She's holding a blanket. That's a statue of Zolani. Zolani was one of the ascended god warriors. There's a whole story about her in Legends of Runeterra. I have one other video and article on her. But she was an ascended god warrior, literally worshipped as a healer. And you can see this whole village is dead. And immediately, there's Xer'Sai moving around. Look at it coming towards her. They try to fight back. Those are Xer'Sai. That's not Rek'Sai. Those are just random Xer'Sai that they're fighting. So they start fighting. And then a hole freaking opens up underground. Followed by this scene here. They're standing above the hole. You guys already saw this. They realize, okay, they're not going to be able to beat this thing. I mean, they could beat the little Xer'Sai, but not this big thing. And so Kaisa lures Rek'Sai back underground into her hole. And Talia pulls down the statue of Zolani over the hole, sealing Rek'Sai again beneath the sands. And we finish with there she is, Kaisa luring Rek'Sai down. Now, this was actually all a part of Bel'Veth's plan. Bel'Veth was the one that sent Rek'Sai there, that organized the whole thing, all to lure Kaisa into the Lavender Sea. You know what? I want to make this full screen. I really want you guys to see this one. You guys can't. I need to make it like. I really want to make it full screen, but I need to figure out how to do that later. All right, we'll watch it. We'll watch it. Oh, you know what I can do? If I go to YouTube, I'll pull it up on YouTube because that'll be bigger. I want you guys to see the Lavender Sea in all of its glory. Because this takes place right after that moment. I can't do that, but I can do this. That looks a little bit bigger. This is the Lavender Sea. That's what you're seeing here. And look at the boat. Remember, Bel'Veth was a port city. That's what it was. The main city that was consumed to create the Lavender Sea was Bel'Veth. Not to create the Lavender Sea, but to create Bel'Veth itself, the character. That's why Bel'Veth, oftentimes, the creatures that she creates are sea creatures. Kaisa.
What are you? I am everything the void has consumed. And just as I devoured this city, I will devour your world.
Doesn't do nothing, gets smacked like a child to the ground.
You disappoint me. I am not Samari's void spawn. I am so much more. I am the end of your world and the beginning of mine.
So what's the purpose, guys? Why would Bel'Veth want Kaisa down here and to communicate with her and talk with her and say, hey, you know, really threaten her? What's the purpose? The whole purpose of this is that Bel'Veth wants Kaisa and the Runeterrans on her side to stop the Watchers. She makes her an offer. One, she tells Kaisa your dad's still alive, and she's basically to taunt her. Kaisa's saying, I'll stop you. And she's like, everyone who's ever tried to stop me is dead. Of the ones that tried to stop me, only 2 are left. There's you and your father. And of those 2, only one retains her true mind, saying that her father is still alive, but he's a madman. And then she offers Kaisa something. She says, I will spare your world for a time. You know, years, months, whatever. I'm going to spare Runeterra for a time, but you have to help me stop the Watchers up here. Because the Watchers want to destroy Runeterra. We know the ice is melting. I talked about that in another video with the Eye in the Abyss. The Watchers are close to escaping. So Belva's like, help me stop the Watchers. They're your real enemy. They want to destroy Runeterra. Let's work together, stop the Watchers, and then you can try to stop me if you want, but you won't be successful. So what's funny is that the Watchers really offer Lysandra, another character, pretty similar offering. They tell Lysandra, hey, help us enter into Runeterra, and we'll spare you for a time, you know, years, whatever. You'll have more time. If you just let us into Runeterra, and we'll spare you for a while. And so it's funny that Belveth really offers Kaisa almost a similar offering, saying, help me and I'll give you time back. So that's what Belveth wants with Kaisa. That's why she lured her down into the Lavender Sea to talk with her. It's because she wants Kaisa and probably our help in the Riot MMO. But we're not going to do that. We're probably going to kill Belveth, and then she's going to be like, you fools! A greater threat than me awaits you in the Freljord. You have no idea what you unleashed. It'll be like very much foreboding at the end of what's to come. The final boss of the raid, an epic multi-phase encounter against the sentient heart of the new void. Belveth, created from the memories and matter of an entire devoured city, represents a terrifying evolution of her kind. The fight would begin against her deceptive humanoid form, a fast-paced duel of dodging her royal maelstroms and dashes. Upon reaching a certain health threshold, she would reveal her monstrous true form, transforming the arena into the Lavender Sea. The floor would become a damaging hazard, with only small shifting islands of solid ground. In this phase, she would summon echoes of devouring life forms and use massive sweeping attacks with her wing-like fins. The final phase would see her attempting to consume the raid entirely, creating a reality-warping vortex in the center of the room. Players would have to fight against the pull, destroying void Remora adds to weaken her and finally deliver the killing blow, silencing the Empress and saving Runeterra. For now. Because Belveth is just one threat of the void, and the main threat is the Watchers. These are allies who will test us. They're not raid bosses per se, although they could be a raid fight, but it'll be more like, I want to test your mettle and, you know, teach you something about mechanics, something like that, to before you go into the raid. So one is Jax, the Grandmaster of Arms. Once known as Sajax, he was respected weapons master of Icathia. He witnessed firsthand the folly of unleashing the void and survived the destruction of his homeland. Overcome with guilt, he now wanders Runeterra, testing warriors with his iconic lamppost, a self-imposed handicap. That is what people believe, but the lamppost is actually very powerful and can act. The light of the lamppost actually repels the void. So that is not accurate. I'm going to delete that. Searching for those strong enough to stand with him against the coming of the darkness. So it may seem like a self-imposed handicap, but it's not. The lamppost is powerful. It can literally repel the void. Grieving and ashamed, Sajax Kali Ringskohari Icathun forsook his old name, and from that day was known only as Jax. That's after the fall of Icathia. As the last weapon masters of Icathia, Jax is driven by the guilt of his home's destruction. Before any adventurer can be allowed to face the heart of the void, they must first prove their worth to him. This encounter would be a trial combat, a mechanics-heavy duel where the goal is not to kill Jax, but to survive his onslaught and demonstrate mastery of combat fundamentals. He would test Tank's ability to mitigate damage, Healer's endurance, and DPS ability to avoid his counter-strike. Only by passing his test will players be deemed worthy to carry the last light of Icathia into the darkness. So I think that'd be really cool. You get like an achievement kind of thing to show that you completed the Trials of Jax. It can be a raid or it can be like a solo event kind of thing where you learn. It'd be a cool way to learn mechanics, right? If mechanics are very complex in a raid, you can do something like this, where it's a one-on-one experience. You queue in for it, but it's solo, and he teaches you the mechanics of the raid that are coming up in a way that's canon to him, right? He's not summoning freaking void creatures, but he summons like little, robots or something or whatever to test you. So a cool way to learn mechanics without just wiping 100 times. There's Kaisa, the daughter of the void. My appearance may frighten you, but make no mistake, I am on your side and we fight to the bitter end. Unbeknownst to Kassadin, his daughter, Kaisa, survived the Void's attack on her village. Dragged into the abyss, she merged with the living Void Carapace to stay alive. Emerging years later as a deadly hunter, her entire existence is a battle to keep the two worlds apart. And I think that this is literally the Void Rift that consumed Kaisa's city, because in her color story, this is the art for it. Once an ordinary girl, now a symbiotic hunter, Kaisa would be the raid's primary guide and quest giver. Having survived the abyss herself, she understands the threat like no other. Her involvement would be woven throughout the entire raid experience, from leading the initial assault to helping players find her father, Kassadin. Her personal questline would culminate in the final battle against Belveth, where Kaisa fights alongside the raid, perhaps providing a crucial buff or performing a key mechanic. She is not a test to be overcome, but an indispensable ally in the fight for survival. And this is Kaisa's evolve like in Legends of Runeterra. One thing that I will say about Kaisa is that I do think that we'll get Void Hunter class around this time, where Kaisa helps people fight against the Void by fusing with like a small Void creature. So fighting fire with fire, that happens a lot in MMOs. And I think that that's the class that we'll get for those that want to be a Void creature kind of thing. A lot of people say they want to be a Voidling. You can't really be a Voidling, but a Void Hunter is close enough. And you might recognize that character, right? As an earlier raid boss from up here. That was the Void Abomination. So that's going to be a raid boss in the MMO, I think. The final one, Zilean, the Chrono Keeper. And I think Zilean we'll touch Zilean at the end. And I think there's going to be a whole expansion around the Chrono Keepers, a separate piece to Icathia. So over many years, Zilean established a network of promising young mages from different times, all of whom were capable of seeing out his life's work should the unthinkable happen. Although a kind and encouraging mentor, deep sorrow creased his brow when he sought solitude, and there was a weariness in his eyes that only someone who has lived multiple lifetimes could hope to comprehend. After defeating Belveth and stemming the immediate tide of Void, players might encounter the enigmatic Zilean. Trapped outside of time since he saved the fragment of Icathia from its destruction, he offers a tantalizing proposition, the chance to go back. An encounter with Zilean would be the hook for a future Chrono Keeper expansion. He would task players with entering temporal rifts, reliving the fall of Icathia, not to prevent it but to recover lost artifacts or knowledge. This would open up new dungeons and raids set in the past, with Zilean acting as a guide through the paradoxes of history, all in a desperate hope of one day finding a timeline where his home was saved. And I really like Zilean. I think that this is the kind of Zilean character that I want, where he's like a little silly but really powerful. Let me open it up on YouTube again, because I feel like that's bigger.
Some call me a prophet, a magician, a mad old hermit. But my eyes have never deceived me, and what I observe troubles me. I see the same mistakes time and again. But time, like so many things, is a construct, a convention of those who fear.
I love this part.
Confound it. Where was I? Ah, yes. The convention of those who fear
so much
their
power,
fate
but it's a little
and
silly.
endeavor to bury the past. But here's the secret. Fate is also an illusion. Should you find yourself in despair, the solution is simple. pick another fate. For victory comes to those who choose their outcome, not those who let it choose them.
Yeah, I really want Zillion to kind of be like that in the Riot MMO, where he's like this old hermit,
Where was I?
insane power, but just a little bit silly at the same time. I think that's the character that I like the most with Zillion. But those are the Riot MMO bosses for Icathia. I think Icathia will be an expansion for sure. It's just about when it comes out, not if. And I think Legend of Runeterra, as well as League of Legends, already offers a pretty great cast of raid bosses and stories that tie easily into some raid encounters that are going to be pretty great. So that's my story of Icathia. Guys, I do have to go for freaking work. I have a meeting at 9 o'clock. But I hope you enjoyed the top 10 Icathia threats we'll face the Riot MMO raid bosses. Thanks for stopping by the Grove. Yo, Flappy, Happy, Dan, Turi, thanks again so much. Madeline over on YouTube, or Madeline over on Twitch, but you're Madeline YT, so confuse me. Jaren, thanks for all the follows, guys. Thanks for all the subs. And I will see you in the next one tomorrow.